One day, we see a gang called Hamura breaking into a government building and killing every person there, and one of them sits beside the prime minister, pulls out his phone, and says, I want to search for the person inside this picture, because this person killed our main leader, and I learned that he is inside your city, but the minister does not answer him with anything. So one of the gang members named Ana comes over and uses the power of her eyes to make sure whether he knows any information or not, but he does not have any information, so they leave him and walk away from the place. And while they are escaping, the army forces start surrounding the place where they are. Standing in front of them is the government leader named Reishi, and the current leader of the gang surrenders. At the same time, our hero Shiro is at his school, taking his food and heading up to the rooftop, and he finds a cat beside him, and gives it some of his food. Then afterward he goes to his classroom, and finds all the students preparing for the festival that will be held at the school, and the class president asks him to buy fireworks, and sends him the exact things she wants on his phone. So Shiro searches for his phone but cannot find it. So the president writes them down for him on a paper, and Shiro takes it and goes to the city to buy what was requested from him, and on his way he stands in front of the sea and enjoys the beautiful view before him. But suddenly, one of the Hamura gang members notices him and informs the rest of the members about his location, and they all move quickly to chase after him, and after Shiro buys the fireworks, suddenly he finds someone behind him on a skateboard knocking him to the ground. And he looks at the picture he has and at Shiro's picture, and confirms that he is the person they are chasing, and starts running after him through the street. And the rest of the gang members arrive and try to help him, and Shiro enters a narrow place, and there is almost nowhere else for him to escape. And one of them uses his power and creates fireballs, and attacks Shiro with them. But suddenly a strange person appears, and blocks the fireballs, and beats the people behind them, and grabs Shiro and escapes with him from the place. And the two of them jump onto a rooftop, so Shiro gets up and thanks him for helping him, and just as he is about to leave the place, he sees him grabbing his sword and knocking him to the ground, and tells him, my name is Kuro, and my mission is to kill the evil king. So Shiro becomes very surprised by him, and does not understand anything, and suddenly all the screens in the place get hacked, and a video appears on them of someone who looks exactly like Shiro, while he is killing one of the people with a gun, and afterward he says, I am the true evil king, and my goal is to destroy the entire country, and Kuro says, surely that person is you. And just as Shiro is about to try escaping from the place, Kuro uses his power and manages to hold him in the air, and Shiro tells him, I am innocent, I do not know anything about this video or about the murder. So Kuro grabs him and says, then why did you try to escape if you are innocent? So Shiro tells him, well, you are holding the sword above my head, so of course I will try to escape. And besides, even if I killed someone, why do you not just hand me over to the police and that is it? Why do you want to kill me? So Kuro tells him, I do not care about the country's laws. I am trying to achieve justice myself. And Kuro grabs the sword and prepares to kill him, but Shiro tells him, wait, I just want you to grant me one request. And he sits on the ground and tells him, I want to write a farewell letter, and I want you to deliver it to my little sister, so she can believe that her brother never killed anyone at all, because she suffers from a chronic illness, and spent her whole life inside the hospital, and I am her only friend. And he gives him the letter, and just as Kuro is opening it to read it, Shiro uses the fireworks that he had bought and escapes from the place. And throughout all this time the cat that he found on the school rooftop is with him. At the same time, the Amara gang members are the ones who hacked all the screens across the city, and they place a reward for any person who can report Shiro's location. And all the people become shocked by the huge amount of money, and at the same time Ana tries to see Shiro's location with her energy spheres. And on the other side, one of the gang members goes to Kuro, and tells him, where did you take Shiro? You are definitely cooperating with him because you saved him. So Shiro takes advantage of those words, and appears from above the rooftop and signals to Kuro, and tells him, come here quickly so you can escape from him. So the gang member runs quickly to catch Shiro, but Kuro stops him with his power and hits him, and goes to catch up with him, but he finds that he disappeared and Shiro had gone to his house. And as soon as he arrives he enters to rest on the bed, and the same cat is with him. And he says to himself, I do not understand anything from what happened today. And who is the person inside that video? And he looks beside him and suddenly finds that the cat transformed into a human. At the same time, Kuro is searching for Shiro, and goes to his school to search for him there. And as soon as he arrives he meets the student council president, so he asks her about his location. So she tells him, come with me and I will show you where his house is. And there, Shiro is extremely shocked, and becomes surprised by the girl in front of him. And he hears the voice of the class president calling out to him. And when he looks from the window he finds her standing with Kuro beneath his house. And suddenly Kuro jumps from the window and grabs his sword and attacks Shiro. but the girl comes quickly and saves him from there, and the two of them escape and Kuro tries to run after them. But every time he gets close to them something strange happens. The girl uses her power and creates an illusion and pushes him away from the place, and they continue escaping like this until the end of the night, and every time Kuro tries to get close to Shiro, the girl uses the illusion and pushes him away, until in the end the three of them become extremely exhausted inside the house. So Shiro tells him there is no point in all this chasing. Are you not trying to achieve justice? Then do not kill me now and stay with me all the time, and I will prove to you by any way that I am innocent. So he agrees and they all sit down to eat. And on the next day, Reishi goes to the prison cell to meet the current leader of the Hamura gang, and we learn that his name is Suo. So Reishi grabs his head and slams it against the wall to wake him up, and tells him, Reishi, your current power level is extremely high, and because of that there is a very high chance that you and the gang will destroy the entire city. And in the end this matter will end with me killing you. So Suo tells him, I do not understand anything. So Reishi replies to him, I want you to give up your position and dissolve the entire gang. Otherwise I will be forced to imprison you for the rest of your life. So Suo tells him, do you actually believe the words that you are saying? And besides, there is no way you can imprison me for my whole life, unless you keep sitting with me inside this prison cell here, because you are the only one who can stop me with your power. So Reishi leaves him and walks away from the place. And he goes to sit inside his office in order to think of a way he can imprison him with, and his assistant offers him help by using calming medical injections on him all the time. So Reishi tells her, I will think about the matter and tell you. And he asks her, did you do your research on the video that was shown in the middle of the city? So she tells him, yes, I did research and discovered the type of gun that was used, and I learned that there was a truck filled with weapons that got attacked by the mafia, and the rest of the weapons are completely missing. And this means that the remaining weapons are with the mafia gang, and they will definitely use them. So Reishi tells her, I want you to continue researching the matter and bring me every detail that you can. At the same time, ANA is trying to search for Shiro, but without any success until now, and suddenly while they are inside the headquarters, two members enter while fighting with each other. And one of them says that the other person was insulting Suo, and saying that he surrendered himself because he is weak and has no power at all. So the third person tells them the matter is not exactly like that. Suo's power could make him destroy the entire world, and even if he had not surrendered himself, Reishi would have kept sitting there watching him all the time, and that would stop our work inside the gang. And because of that he let them imprison him so we can work freely, and search for the person who killed our leader. And inside Shiro's room, the three of them are sitting and eating, and Shiro asks Kuro about the people who are chasing him and the Hamura gang. So Kuro tells him the person who got killed was the leader of their gang, and they want to kill whoever did that, and every person inside this gang has a supernatural power, and currently Su is their leader, and they are the strongest gang in the entire city. So Shiro tells him, then why do you want to kill me? You do not look like you belong to that gang. So Kuro tells him, in our world, there is a person who possesses extremely powerful abilities, and he becomes the next king. And because of that I decided to search for him, and see him, and if he turns out to be an evil person I will kill him immediately. So Shiro tells him, I do not understand anything, and who is this king? So Kuro tells him, every 200 years a person appears who possesses an extremely powerful ability, and he becomes the king of all the gangs. And he becomes the strongest person in the entire country. So Shiro asks him, is it not supposed to be that the prime minister is the one who rules the country? So Kuro tells him no. The economic situation in the country was extremely terrible, but Japan managed to overcome that crisis because of only one person, and his name is the Golden King, and he is the one currently controlling all the technology belonging to Japan. So Shiro asks him, then who is Suo? I heard that he possesses great power too. So Kuro tells him there are 7 gang kings, and every gang is different from the other, and the one ruling all of them in the end is the Golden King, and the Hamura clan are famous for violence, and the government forces under the leadership of Reishi are also considered a clan by themselves. And their name is the Blue Clan, and the clan members are closer to each other than brothers. So the fact that someone dared to kill their leader, then that is the dumbest decision he could ever make. So Shiro tells him, I do not understand anything. I am not the next king, nor can I even kill anyone at all. So Kuro nods and tells him there is an old legend that says the person who kills one of the kings will become the next evil king. So Shiro tells him, I am not that person. All that you saw was just a video, and the video could easily be manipulated. I am just a high school student. So Kuro tells him, then who is this girl that is with you? Is she not one of the members of your gang? So Shiro becomes surprised as well, and asks her, who exactly are you? And what brought you here? So she tells him, my name is Nico, and I was the cat that was with you since the morning. so Shiro becomes even more surprised and does not understand anything. So Kuro tells him there is a faction of people who possess supernatural powers, and she is definitely one of them, because she can manipulate illusions. So Shiro tells the two of them, I do not understand anything from either of you, but right now I got involved in a murder case, and I must prove my innocence in it, because I am sure that I never killed anyone at all. So Kuro tells him, alright, there is no problem. Just like I agreed with you, I will keep watching you all the time until you prove your identity, and if I discover that you are an evil person, I will kill you immediately without hesitation. And while they are sitting and talking, there is a group of people who manage to discover the locations of the weapons that were stolen from the truck. And just as they are about to take them and escape from the place, suddenly one of the government members appears in front of them, and his name is Fushimi, and he uses his power and attacks them, and calls leader Reishi in order to inform him that he managed to find the location. And on the next day Shiro goes to school, and Kuro is sitting behind him in a strange way, and the class president tells him it is good that you found a friend, because you were alone all the time, and the teacher arrives and becomes surprised by Kuro, and asks him, who are you? And just as Kuro is about to speak, Shiro stands up and tells him this is a new student with us who just transferred to this class here. So the class president tells him, I did not know that you were a new student. My name is Kukuri, and anything that you need, talk to me immediately and I will help you. And Nico is also with them in the classroom in the form of a cat, and she transforms into her human form. So the teacher becomes surprised by her as well. So Shiro tells him the same thing, and that she is a new student in the place. And after the class they all sit and eat the food that Kuro had prepared, and Shiro grabs Kuro's phone, because he forgot his own phone, and sees on it the video that is spreading across the entire internet, and remembers the morning when he had just arrived at school, and there was another student beside him with the same video, and telling him that the person in the video looks exactly like him. At the same time, Fushimi and all the government members are trying to analyze the spreading video, and learn any information or details about it. And they manage to discover the exact time and date of the video, and the place where it was filmed, and they manage to reach the closest person who resembles the one that appeared in the picture, and it is Shiro. And Shiro is sitting with Kuro and Nico, preparing for the school festival, and Shiro tells them since the video is dated December 7 at 11 p.m., then that means I had just left the school, and if we calculate the distance between the school and the crime scene, then it is impossible that I could have made it there. And that means if I prove that I was at the school that day, then that will be my proof of innocence, and I remember that many things happened at the school that day, so surely there will be many students who can prove my presence at the school, and Kukuri comes to hurry them up. And at the same moment that they are talking, Anan manages to determine Shiro's exact location, and also learns that he is currently at the school. And all the members manage to know his location, and two of them move quickly toward the school. And on the other side, we go back in time to the same moment when the crime happened at the school. And there is a person standing on the tallest building there, and gathering all the students in the place, because he wants to marry Kukuri, and Shiro reminds her and tells her what happened then was at almost the same time as the crime. I was standing with you back then if you remember. So Kukuri tells him I was extremely embarrassed that day, and I did not notice your presence at all. So Shiro goes to ask the rest of the students who were standing in the same place, but none of them remember. So Shiro goes to the school journalism club, in order to look at the pictures that were taken that day, but again he does not find himself in the pictures. And Kuro stands beside him while being extremely angry, and Shiro does not know what to do. And just as he is about to speak he finds Kukuri coming toward them, and telling them take these books to the teacher's room. So Shiro remembers something else, and goes there immediately. And as soon as he arrives there he tells the teacher, I want to take the student exit records from the school on December 7, and he takes them and the three of them go down to read them in the street. And he tells Kuro my name is not among them, and that means I did not leave the school that day, and that is enough to remove the suspicion from me. And they all go to buy something to drink, and stand in front of the juice machine. And Shiro searches for his phone in order to pay, but cannot find it, so Kukuri comes and pays herself, and tells him did you forget your phone again just like every time. So Kuro tells her is it not supposed that he cannot enter, or leave the gate without his phone? So she replies yes, but Shiro always sneaks from behind the gate and enters. So Kuro becomes extremely angry, and grabs his sword in order to attack him, and tells him it is obvious that you are mocking me. So Nico tries to protect Shiro, and tells him I will never allow you to hurt him, but Shiro pushes her away and stands in front of her, and suddenly, Kuro remembers the exact same scene happening when he was young with his father, and Shiro tells him do not worry, from now on I will take the matter more seriously. Many things happened on that same day. Surely someone among them remembers that I was there. So Kukuri tells them I think I saw you that day in the gym hall. and they all go to the gym hall, and Kukuri brings the cameras of the place and shows them that the time was 12:30, and that means he was still at the school and had not left it. So Shiro tells him, I think this is enough proof to make you stop trying to kill me again. And after that they all go to continue preparing for the festival, and afterward Shiro returns home and searches for his clothes, and as soon as he opens the closet and grabs his shirt, suddenly he finds a lot of blood on it, and begins to feel strange memories from the video, and becomes extremely shocked by what he sees in front of him. But suddenly Nico enters on him, so he quickly closes the closet door. And on the next day they all go to the school, and cooperate with all the students in order to prepare the festival, and Shiro sits alone, and thinks about everything that happened yesterday, and about the blood that he found on his clothes, and the blurry memories that came to him at that moment, and he gets up from his place in order to help them with the rest of the preparations. At the same time, Rishi's assistant is calling him and informing him that they found the person who looks exactly like the video, and they will head to the school in order to investigate the matter further. And she tells Fushimi, you are coming with us to the school. So he tells her, alright, what will you do once you find him? So she tells him, we will arrest him immediately and take him with us to prison. So he tells her, and what if he tries to resist? But she leaves him without replying to him. And on the other side at the school, the two Hamare members have arrived at the school, and they steal the phones of two students, and enter the school with them. And at that same moment Shiro is taking the people with him and leaving from another gate, because he forgot his phone, and they all walk outside the school, and Kuro tells him we need to buy fireworks again, because you exploded the old ones on me. So Shiro tells him, well, you were the one trying to kill me, and the three of them stand watching the beauty of the city sea. And at the same time, all the government members have arrived at the school, and they go up to sit with the school principal, and the assistant asks him for help so she can know information about Shiro, and tells him, do not worry, we will not cause you any problems in the school. So the principal tells her, but I cannot give you information about any student in the school. So she replies, it is better that you give us the information willingly, because I could use other methods in order to obtain the information, and because of that we came to talk to you first, before we do anything. So the principal tells her, then, give me any information about the person that you want so I can know who he is. So she tells him, no, we will search for him ourselves. And down in the school courtyard, the Hamura gang members are asking all the students about a person who looks like the one in the picture with them. And upstairs in the student council room, Kukuri is standing in the place, and suddenly Fushimi appears behind her, and makes her smell anesthesia, and sits at her computer in order to try learning the name of the student whose picture is with him. And while he is sitting he hears a sound from the window, so he stands looking at what is happening, and finds the two Hamare gang members, who are standing asking all the students in front of them. And suddenly Fushimi appears in front of them, and tells them, what brought you here? Surely ANA is the one who determined the location for you. So one of them tells him, after you betrayed our gang did you join the government? So Fushimi laughs, and tells him, and what is the problem? In the end I was never one of you at all, and the day had to come when I leave you. And besides, how did you manage to enter here? So Yada stands up and activates his power, and a red energy aura appears around him. But the one with him tries calming him down, and reminds him of the leader's instructions. So Fushimi tells them, none of you even have great power at all. Even your new leader Su surrendered himself immediately to the government, and that means he knows the limits of his power very well. You also need to learn from him. And suddenly Yada moves quickly in order to attack him, and the two of them attack each other, and Fushimi tells him, it is obvious that your power increased since the last time I saw you, and Yada tries once again to attack him, and they continue fighting. And Fushimi throws a small knife that he has at him, and Yada gets injured and falls to the ground, and tries to use his power but cannot. So Fushimi tells him, I told you your power increased, but my power increased much more than yours. So Yada stands up and removes the knife from his body, and activates his power once again. And just as he is about to attack Fushimi, suddenly Raishi's assistant appears in the place, and stops the fight between them, and tells Fushimi, did you forget that we are inside a school, or what? And tells Yada, are you not one of the Hamura gang members? So he tells her, yes, and you are Raishi's assistant, and your name is Siri. And he turns his face and walks away from the place. So one of the government members tells Siri, are we gonna let him leave that easily? So she tells him, we do not have any other choice, because we cannot face them here inside the school, and surely they will not surrender easily. And they all go out walking through the school, and Siri asks Fushimi, were you able to reach any information about the student that we want or not? So he tells her, no, I did not find any student in the school who looks like him. At the same time, Su is sleeping inside his prison and dreaming that the entire city is destroyed around him, and he remembers the video that happened and the murder crime, and hears Anna's voice, and wakes up shocked from the nightmare that he is dreaming. And on the other side they all went in order to eat, and Shiro sits with them, and remembers all the events that happened to him. So Kuro tells him, why are you so distracted? So Shiro tells him it is nothing. So Kuro tells him, you must focus with me, because our mission is not finished yet. If you are not the person who committed the murder crime, then surely there is someone who disguised himself as you and did it. So we must search into the matter and learn who that person is. And Shiro looks around him in the restaurant and finds many pictures hanging on the wall, and asks the restaurant owner about them. So he tells him these are pictures of the customers who always come here to the place. So Shiro tells him, but my picture is not there, even though I always come to this restaurant. And Kuro feels that there is something wrong happening. And inside the Hamare Gang Cafe, a girl enters the place in order to drink anything, and sits with the owner of their place, and tells him how is leader Suo doing right now. So he tells her he is still imprisoned until now. So she tells him, but you look very calm even though your king is imprisoned. And I do not understand why you are also calm, even though you know that your king's power reached its limits, and you know that if he cannot control it, natural disasters will happen in Japan, and all of Japan could be destroyed, just like what happened before. So he tells her, and because of that we left him in the hands of the government, because Reishi is the only person who can stop his power if it explodes. And we go back in time 8 years, when Suo was still a young man, and his friend the cafe owner stands with him, and tells him, I heard that there is a middle school student trying to search for you, and copying everything that you do, and wants to become your follower. So Su tells him, yes, I know him. So the other person replies he is currently being held inside the hospital, because someone beat him in the street. So Su stands up and the two of them go to the hospital, and the surprise is that this person looks extremely similar to Shiro. In fact, it is Shiro himself. And when Su enters to him, he tries to understand from him everything that happened. And the other person tells him, be careful. If you keep trying to imitate Suo, like this you will get yourself into much bigger problems than this. And Suo goes and hits his injured leg, and tells him, I want to know who did this to you. So Shiro tells him, I am not exactly sure who he is. So Su hits him on the head and leaves him and walks away. And the other person tells him, be careful, because Su is very short-tempered, and you look stupid. So Shiro tells him, do not worry, I will become his follower, because one day he will become the king. And we return again to the present. And Shiro is standing with Kuro and Nico in front of the fireworks shop, in order to buy fireworks for the celebration, and Kuro tries to read the writing but cannot, so he grabs his phone in order to call Kukuri and ask her, and suddenly he finds Nico upset, and she tells him do not call her and use the phone, let us go there instead. So Kuro tells her, then why should we go all that distance when the phone exists? And suddenly Nico grabs her head and transforms into a cat and escapes from there. So Shiro grabs his phone and calls Kukuri, and as soon as she answers he tells her, I am Shiro, and I wanted to ask you about the things written on the paper. But he becomes shocked when he finds Kukuri telling him, who are you? I do not know anyone named Shiro. So he closes the phone and tells Kuro it looks like she does not remember me at all, and it is obvious that she is speaking seriously and not joking. So Kuro tells him, come, let us go to the school and see this matter. But Shiro stands in his place, and grabs his phone and calls his house. But as soon as the number rings, he finds it out of service completely. And we go back in time 3 years, and Suo is sitting inside his gang cafe, and finds Shiro sleeping beside him. And Suo tells them, I just came back from a fight with people in the city, and unfortunately I killed all of them. I do not know why whenever any problem happens they call me. So Shiro tells him that is because you are the current king. And I knew that long ago. Deep inside you are a kind person, and you try to help everyone around you, and you love all the members of your gang. So Suo looks at his hand, and tells him, but one day this power will explode. So Shiro stands up and tells him that is not a problem. When that time comes we will find a solution for the matter, but currently our mission is protecting the people. And we return to the present and Shiro is with Kuro inside the train, and Shiro tells him, I tried to call my house, but the number is completely out of service, so maybe I dialed the wrong number. Or they changed my number, or the third possibility is that I do not even exist in reality. So Kuro tells him it is obvious that there is a flaw in your memories, and you do not remember anything about your life. And we go back in time again to 3 months ago, and Shiro is with the Hamare gang members, and trying to ride Yada's skateboard, and afterward Shiro sits with them, and plays the guitar for them, and it is obvious that all of them are happy with his presence among them. But in the present, Shiro is standing in front of a football stadium, and tells Kuro my house is supposed to be here. Every time I walk on the road I reach my house. So Kuro tells him it is obvious that you are not the real Shiro, or maybe Shiro does not exist at all in reality. So Shiro tells him every time I tried to remember details about my life I could not remember anything. I do not know whether I am truly a killer or not. I cannot believe myself in anything. And he turns to Kuro and tells him, were you not the one who wanted to kill me? Now you can kill me very easily. And we go back in time once again 1 week earlier, which is the day of the crime, and Yada runs across the rooftop and finds Shiro dead on the ground, and beside him is the camera that he used for filming, and Yada tells him, do not worry, I will call for help to arrive immediately, and we will treat you as quickly as possible. So Shiro speaks and tells him I am sorry, and suddenly dies in his hands. And in the present, Kuro stands in front of Shiro, and tells him, until now I still do not believe you, but it is obvious that you also do not believe yourself, so I will not kill you now. I will still try to search for the truth of what happened, and you also should never give up, and try to learn your true identity. And suddenly, while they are standing there, the lights turn on inside the stadium, and the entire place gets surrounded by government forces, and Siri stands calling out to them, and asks them to surrender themselves, so Kuro tells her no, we will not surrender ourselves. So all the government assistants grab their swords, and Nico is standing in the form of a cat watching, and suddenly she uses her power and activates an illusion in the place, and Kuro and Shiro get transported to the city, and she takes them and they run away from there, and all the government members stand in the city, and do not understand what happened to them. And when Siri tries to grab one of the people, he transforms into a mirage. So she orders all her soldiers to surround the place so they cannot escape, and suddenly she stands in front of Kuro and Shiro. So Kuro grabs his sword and attacks her, and the two of them use their powers against each other, and suddenly a strange sword appears above them, and Nico's illusion begins disappearing, and Reishi enters the place toward them, and tells Siri, thank you for reaching this far, but leave me to handle things from now on, and he uses his power and transforms Nico into another human, and says, I had a feeling that a person with supernatural power was with you, because no one in the world can create this illusion, and he raises his hand and the entire illusion disappears from the place. So Kuro tells Shiro, I will fight this man, and you try to escape from here, and suddenly he uses his power and pushes 2 government members away from the exit, and Shiro and Nico run in order to escape. So Nico orders the assistants outside the place to close it completely, and Rishi stands in front of Kuro, and tells him, I did not expect you to sacrifice yourself for them, and besides, that sword with you belongs to one of the 7 kings, and it looks like you managed to kill him and take his sword. And Reishi attacks him quickly, and manages to hit him very easily, and Kuro tries to avoid all his attacks with difficulty, and runs in order to attack him, but Reishi throws him to the ground, and places his foot on his body and defeats him easily. And he tells him, you did a heroic act, by sacrificing yourself and standing to face me, but is this Shiro your king now, and are you working with him? It is obvious that the boy with you is the 7th king, the colorless king, and he is the one who will take the position of the king who died. So Kuro tells him, the previous king ordered me to search for who the person was that gained the power, and make sure whether he is a righteous person or not. So Rishi tells him, and what is the result of your search? So he replies, until now nothing yet, and I will not allow anyone to kill him before I make sure about him. So Reishi places the sword on his neck, and tells him maybe he has been fooling you all this time, and trying to use you so you become his personal bodyguard, because until now he still cannot use his power, and also the girl from a strange bloodline is with him. Surely he is using her in order to deceive you and deceive everyone around him. So are you convinced that sacrificing yourself has any meaning now? And just as Kuro is about to speak, suddenly they find Shiro standing in front of them in the place, and telling them, I cannot escape and leave my friend behind me, and he apologizes to Kuro and tells him, I am sorry, I was lying to you all the time, and suddenly he uses his power, and a sword comes out from him similar to the one with Reishi, and Reishi tries to attack him, so Kuro takes advantage of that and gets up and hits Rishi, and suddenly he and Shiro disappear from the place. And the 3 of them escape quickly outside the stadium, and stand in an abandoned place so Shiro can check on Kuro, and it starts raining while they are standing there, and Shiro tells Nico, I do not know how to thank you for your help. You managed to save us at the right time. So she tells him, I do not understand what you are talking about. So he tells her Reishi was talking about you being from a rare bloodline, and that you have the power of illusion. So Kuro tells him not just illusion only, she also has the ability to manipulate people's memories and senses, and that means she can create fake memories for any person, and make any 2 people who are meeting for the first time believe that they have been friends for a long time. So Shiro starts remembering all the memories of his school, and says, now I started understanding why nobody remembers me, and he tells Nico, try to return my old memories again, and then we will be able to know whether I am the evil king or not. So Kuro tells him, if I discover that you will become an evil person, then I will kill you immediately. So Shiro tells him, there is no problem. I am tired of the situation that I am in. Every problem that happens to us, we postpone it, and in the end we never reached any result, and regardless of anything that happened, I must take responsibility. And he tells Nico, please, try to return my memories once again. and Nico starts remembering all the events that happened when she was present in a place inside the school, and suddenly Shiro gets thrown into the place where she is, and gets up and finds the cat in front of him, and suddenly Kukuri enters that place, and says I feel like I heard a sound here, and becomes shocked when she finds Shiro in front of her. So she asks him who are you, and Shiro does not understand anything, but Nico uses her power, and makes them know each other from long ago, so Shiro tells her I want to know where I came from, before I met you. So Nico tells him I might disappear if you learn those memories, so Shiro tells her do not worry, I will stay beside you all the time, and Nico tries to bring the memories from before, and suddenly Shiro is flying in the sky inside a balloon, and is about to fall from above, and suddenly someone pushes him making him fall to the ground, so Shiro wakes up while shocked, and wondering who that person is. And he looks above him and finds the balloon flying over them in the place. And on the next day they leave the place where they were, and go sit down to rest, and Kuro tells them be careful, because the government has information about us, and surely they will search for you again. So Shiro tells them I know that I still do not remember many things, but I must explain everything to myself, and I will start a new life again from this moment, trying to learn my true identity. At the same time, Sari is sitting with Reishi, and tells him we tried to search for them a lot yesterday, but unfortunately we could not reach them because of the rain yesterday, and currently all the forces are spread out and trying to search for him, and they also placed a siege around his school. So Reishi tells her he managed to escape from me, and it is very difficult for us to find him, especially because the two people with him are helping him greatly, and they are the problem for us. And while they are sitting, Fushimi enters to them, and tells them I received a report that one of our search teams was attacked, and he was transferred to the hospital, and he determines for them the time and place where the problem happened, and tells them that they are light injuries, but his phone was stolen, and the person who did that was Kuro, and the other two were not with him in this operation. So Reishi tells them this is surely not an attack attempt, because Kuro could have killed him easily. It looks like they are trying to reach us, and he tells Fushimi did you find anything strange in that place? So he tells him yes, I found a paper written on it the hour 14, so Sari looks at her watch and finds there are 15 minutes left until that time, and tells Fushimi tell all our forces to be ready, because there will be a deployment operation across the entire city right now. And they sit waiting for the time to come, and at the appointed time Reishi's phone rings, and as soon as he answers he finds Shiro speaking. So Reishi tells him I was waiting for your call, but you used an aggressive method this time in order to reach us. So Shiro tells him I am sorry, but I could not find any other way to talk with you without getting arrested. And while they are talking Sari gives a signal to all the forces to trace his call, and Shiro continues and tells him I want to ask you for a request. There is a person in the balloon that is flying in the sky, who has a very strong connection to the murder incident that happened. And there is another thing that happened that I did not understand which made me the suspect in this case. So Reishi tells him do you know who the person on that balloon is? That is one of the most important people in the country. That is the first Silver King, and surely he would not try to commit a crime like this. So Shiro tells him I want a chance in order to prove that I am innocent. All that I need from you is to let me ask that man some questions, and then I will surrender myself to you. So Reishi tells him I agree, and I will arrange your meeting with the Silver King, but I have one condition, which is that the three of you surrender yourselves. And while they are talking Fushimi and the people with him arrive at the place from where the call was traced and stand exactly in front of the truck and discover that he placed another phone speaking from that place while he is not there. And Shiro is hiding inside a ship in the river and tells Kuro your prediction was truly correct. They will send people to trace my call, and he tells Nico, your role is getting close. I am depending on you to make us escape from here. And on the other side the government indeed starts preparing itself in order to attack the Silver King's balloon. And the soldiers tell each other that this looks like a dangerous matter, because this number of soldiers never moved before except when Japan was destroyed. And Siri says we sent a request to the first king, but until now he still has not responded to us. So Reishi tells her we carried out all the legal procedures, and now we will arrest him ourselves. So Sari tells him, but are you aware that the first king is the strongest person in all of Japan, and he is above the laws completely? At the very least we need permission from the second king before we begin the mission. So Reishi tells her the Golden King is not stupid enough to let us arrest the first king, and because of that we will continue our work until he orders us to stop, and then I will explain the whole matter to him myself. So Siri tells him, then why are we doing this at all? So Reishi tells them surely I am not stupid enough to take an order from Shiro and immediately carry it out. Yes, I moved when he requested it, but my whole life I was silently monitoring the actions of the first king, and I felt that there was something suspicious around him. So Fushimi tells them, is he not just a person living inside the balloon? How could he have a connection to all the cases happening lately? So Reishi tells them, let me explain the matter to you simply. I started tracking the movement of the balloon that he is in, and discovered that it was always moving in a certain direction. But recently its direction started changing, and that matter was very strange. Even yesterday in the stadium where we were, the balloon was flying above us, and when I managed to determine the day when the balloon's path changed, I found it was the same day when the crime happened. And at the same time Shiro and Nico are hiding in the airport, and Shiro tells them it looks like the negotiations with the first king failed. And because of that they decided to arrest him themselves, and suddenly all the helicopters in the place fly, and the government surrounds the first king's balloon. And there the king is sitting watching them, and starts dancing with one of the wooden dolls that he has, and among the government helicopters, there is a helicopter that Kuro and Shiro manage to sneak into and fly with the government, and Shiro asks Kuro, and tells him I want to know from you any information about the first king. So Kuro tells him I only have simple information, but all that I know is that he is the Silver King, and he is a very mysterious person. The Golden King is the second king, and the Silver King is the one controlling all the other kings, and his authority is greater than the Golden King, who is currently ruling Japan. And he tells him, even if we manage to jump onto his balloon, we will not be able to drive away all these government forces from the place. So Shiro tells him we want to capture him and escape with him. And suddenly Nico grabs the steering wheel, and they lose control, and head quickly toward the balloon. And suddenly the first king activates a bomb that explodes in the air, and the entire balloon burns and explodes in the air. And we go back in time to the month of January in the year 1945. At that time Japan was in World War II, and in one of the underground laboratories, the leader of the Japanese army was standing with a group of scientists in order to perform experiments on mice. And the scientist behind this experiment is a person who looks extremely similar to Shiro. And his name is Weissman, and he brings a mouse that he had experimented on before, and places it inside the box with the rest of the mice. And suddenly the mouse's energy increases, and a blue sword appears above it, and the mouse starts running inside the box, and behind it all the other normal mice, which also begin showing the same energy aura, and this shocks the army leader greatly, and he asks Weissman could this also happen with humans, so he tells him yes, and even more than that will happen, because the energy level is connected to the brain, and that means it will be stronger with humans, and besides that it affects all the humans around it. So the leader tells him that means we will have an army of superhuman men. So Weissman tells him no, that means all humans will live in happiness. And suddenly the experiment box explodes from the power of the mice. And while they are standing there Weissman's sister enters to them, and she is also a scientist with him, and they stand talking with the army leader. And the days pass and Japan enters the war, and all the houses in it get burned. And when the army leader goes in order to see Weissman, he finds him sitting on the ground and holding his sister in his hands, while she is on the verge of death. And the days pass until the month of April, and Weissman stands on the borders of Japan in order to ride a balloon and fly into the sky, and speaks to the leader and tells him as for me the war is over now, and leaves him and goes in order to ride the balloon. And in the present, the media starts trying to cover up the explosion that happened in the sky, between the balloon and the helicopter. And Siri starts trying to investigate what happened, and she finds one of the soldiers telling her, the soldiers who were supposed to ride that helicopter we found them unconscious in the warehouse, and that means they were not the ones piloting the helicopter, but suddenly while they are standing there a strange illusion happens to them in the place. And at the same time in the high school, Kukuri is with the students inspecting the festival preparations, and tells them we need a storage room to place the things inside, and I talked with the principal, and she told me about an empty room in the dormitory. We will be able to use it, and she takes a few students with her, and they go there in order to clean the place, and on their way Kukuri passes by the juice machine, and feels that there is something strange, and when they enter the room it turns out to be Shiro's room, and one of them says the room does not look abandoned. It is obvious that someone is using it, and Kukuri feels the same strange feeling in the room. And while they are inside Shiro's room, Reishi is going to meet the ruler of Japan who is the second king, the Golden King, and as soon as he enters to him the Golden King tries to attack him, but Reishi manages to block all the strikes, and tells him I came in order to talk with you peacefully, not so we can fight. So the king tells him then what brought you here? So he tells him there is a corpse beside you right now. And it belongs to Weissman, the first Silver King. And Reishi tells him I learned that your soldiers managed to take that corpse from the balloon, so if you allow me I want to examine it. So the king tells him but he is not a corpse, he is still alive until now. And at that same moment, Sue is sitting inside his prison, and suddenly the telephone in the place falls onto the ground, and he hears a strange voice speaking with him, and it is a person inside Shiro's room and wearing a fox-shaped mask, and tells him I know that one of your clan members died, and I am the person who killed him, and starts trying to provoke Suo, and tells him from now on I will start killing all the members of your gang, and I will begin first with ANA. But suddenly Suo's power appears, and we learn that he is the Red King, and one of the 7 kings, and he manages to explode the telephone along with the person speaking with him, and his eye begins glowing, and he stands up and breaks the chains on his hands, and breaks the prison door that he is inside, and a terrifying energy explodes from him, and the government immediately starts closing many gates. But he manages to destroy all of them and burn the people present, and explodes the building and exits from it, and Sue goes outside, and finds Siri standing in front of him, and she tries to attack him, but he blocks her very easily, and suddenly he uses his power and destroys the entire place around him, and when he exits the prison, he finds all the Hamara gang members waiting for him, and Sue tells them I finally found my target. The person that I want to eliminate is right now inside the high school in the city, and they all move and head there. And they all head toward the school and blow up the gate there, and all the students run away from around them, and Sue uses his power and destroys a large building in the place, and one of the gang members grabs a microphone, and tells all the students do not worry, we will not cause you any problems here, and we hope that you can cooperate with us, and he tells all the gang members with him our mission is to search for the person who appeared in the video, and they all begin searching, and spread his picture everywhere in the school and on all the students' phones, and among the students there is Kukuri, who is feeling a strange sensation, and the police start surrounding the entire school from outside, and Riishi is standing with Siri, and tells her the Red King Suo has extremely great power, and it was impossible for you to face him, and since he came here to the school, then surely he wants to search for the person who carried out the murder crime. And if that person turns out to be one of the kings, huge chaos will happen inside the school, and we do not even know who that king is, so now we have only one solution before us, which is that we must surround the Hamara gang and the Red King. And he turns his face to Siri and tells her I want to ask you for a selfish request. And at night, one of the gang members goes to talk with Yada, who is monitoring all the situations of the school, and tells him it is obvious that the entire government is surrounding the place. And if they try to storm the school, then we will have to face each other. And he remembers his memories when he and Fushimi were friends, inside the same gang, and the day when Fushimi told him I will leave the gang, and he uses his fire power and burns the mark on his neck with it. And at the same time Fushimi is standing remembering the same memories, and it is obvious that the confrontation between them is getting very close. And at the same time Suo is sitting and resting, and his assistant comes to him, and tells him what are you sitting and waiting for all this time? So Sue tells him I am waiting for the killer to take the first step, so his assistant sits beside him, and tells him the first time that I met the king who died, I felt that he was a small child, and would not be able to control the gang, but you managed to become friends easily, and the two of you gained the power of the kings, so Sue stands up from his place and leaves him and walks away, and goes outside in order to meet Reishi, who is standing waiting for him, and the two of them sit and talk, and Reishi tells him let me get directly into the matter. I want you to withdraw from the school right now, because we cannot involve innocent students in the matter, and if you agree, then I am ready for us to try solving the matter peacefully, and I promise you that I will kill the person that you want. So Sue tells him no, I do not agree to your offer. So Reishi tells him you know that the king's power has a certain time and then disappears, and your power is close to disappearing, and it will transfer to another person, but if you get killed here then you will cause a huge disaster in Japan, just like what happened once before. So I think this is the appropriate time for you to step down peacefully. And suddenly he jumps at him and grabs him from his clothes, and tells him all the people who are here have nothing to do with the matter, and even your gang has nothing to do with it. So Suo tells him do not worry about me, I will take care of my own matters, and besides since when are you trying to solve matters peacefully? So Reishi tells him I came in order to meet you as an old friend of yours, but it is obvious that you will never change your opinion. And while they are talking, Shiro and the people with him have returned to his room once again, and they find the place destroyed there, and Kuro tells them it is obvious that this school will turn into a battlefield very soon. It would have been better if we had not returned here right now. So Shiro tells him but this is our home, and all our friends are here, even if they do not remember us they are still our friends, and we must try to save them, and they all go in order to try finding the student's location. And in the darkness of the night, suddenly a strange person wearing a mask appears, and places a bomb inside the school. And on the next day, while everyone is preparing themselves for battle, suddenly a strange explosion happens inside the school, and everyone becomes shocked by this matter. and all the government members enter inside the school and stand in front of the Amare gang members, and Siri gives the signal to all the soldiers with her, and the two sides begin fighting, and a strange explosion happens for the second time inside the school, and Reishi runs there quickly using his power and saves one of the gang members before the explosion debris falls on him, but suddenly that person stands up and stabs him with the knife in his side, and an explosion happens while they are standing there, and the battle between the government and the Ha-Amare gang continues, and Yada comes and fights Siri, and the two of them continue fighting, until Fushimi arrives and blocks Yada's attack, and tells him I feel that the time has come for us to settle things between us. At the same time, Anna is standing watching from the window with the gang members, but a bullet gets fired at her, and knocks her to the ground, and they look from the window, and find one of the government members standing and using a sniper from far away, and all the students inside the school are in a state of extreme panic, and Kukuri is standing in the middle and does not understand anything, and an explosion happens in the building above her, but Kuro quickly enters and saves her, and Shiro and Nico come in order to check on her, but she does not remember them, so Shiro stands and tells her do not worry. We came here in order to help you, and suddenly he looks beside him and finds Sue standing in front of him. And Kuro steps forward and stands in front of them in order to protect them, and Sue starts moving toward them, and suddenly his power explodes in the place, and he pushes Kuro with his hand throwing him far away, and suddenly Nico uses the illusion, but Sue manages to stop it with his power, and Kuro tries to attack him, but Suo blocks all his attacks, and creates a huge energy sphere in the place, and just as he is about to explode it in the place, suddenly he finds Reishi beside him, and destroys his power, and suddenly attacks Suo, and Shiro and the people with him take advantage of that situation and escape from there along with Kukuri. So Shiro tells her go right now to a safe place, and we will continue fighting, but she tells him no, that will not work. You are injured. And just as Shiro is about to open his mouth, suddenly she attacks him with a knife in her hand and injures him, and Kuro grabs her and quickly pushes her away, and suddenly the same fox shape that was talking to Sue comes out from her eye, and speaks to Shiro and tells him it looks like you do not remember me, you are still trying to escape from the past until now, and the memories begin coming into his mind, and Kukuri runs away from the place quickly, and Shiro falls asleep on the ground while not understanding anything, and all his memories return into his mind. And suddenly he stands up and a huge energy comes out from him, and outside the school Reishi and Suo are fighting each other, and they notice the energy coming out from Shiro, and the entire school notices it, and suddenly a silver-colored sword appears in the place, and Shiro opens his eyes, and tells the people with him do not worry about me, now I learned who I am. So Kuro tells him are you not the 7th colorless king? So he tells him no, my name is Adolf Weissman, the 1st silver king. And he starts remembering the rest of his memories, and tells Kuro and Nico, I do not want you to be afraid of me, I am still Shiro just like I am, and at that same moment everyone is fighting outside the school, Fushimi is fighting Yada, and all the other forces are also fighting each other, and Reishi and Suo as well. And Suo says what do you think about stopping the fight between us? So Reishi tells him no, I will not waste the chance to fight you for the last time. And Shiro starts telling all the events of his life to Kuro and Nico, and tells them I am the 1st king. But there is someone who took control over my body and he is the 7th king, because he has the ability to control people, just like what he did with Kukuri right now exactly, and now we must quickly go save her. And the fighting continues outside between everyone, and suddenly the blue and red swords appear among the people, so Siri leaves the fight and goes to see them, and suddenly she finds Shiro standing beside her, and telling her I want to talk with you, and when she tries to attack him she finds herself unable to, and Shiro takes her and they go to a far place. And Kuro goes to stand in the middle of the people who are fighting, and says the 1st king orders all of you to stop fighting, but none of them listen to his words. So he tells them do you know why Sue decided to attack this island, and why Rishi is trying to defend it? Now everything has changed. But suddenly he finds Yada and Fushimi standing in front of him and challenging him to fight. And above them all the Hamamara members are watching what is happening, and suddenly Anna stands up and opens the window, and tells them the king will arrive now, and suddenly Shiro and Sari enter to them. And Anna tells them do not worry, these are not our enemies. And suddenly while they are standing there they receive a phone call. So Shiro tells them I know that this call is for me, but I will ask you to answer it. So Suo's assistant answers, and finds someone telling him I want to speak with the person standing in front of you. So he asks him who are you? So he replies to him I am the 2nd king, the Golden King. And outside Reishi and Suo are still fighting, and Suo's sword is about to shatter. And that means his power is close to ending, and from far away the 7th king is watching them using Kukuri's body. And inside the room, Shiro is talking with the Golden King, and apologizes to him for all the problems that happened because of him, and Shiro tells him even though you grew old, You are still the same old person that I know, still just like you were the leader of my army. And Shiro finishes his call with the old army leader, and Shiro apologizes to him, because he escaped before, and turns his face and finds Siri standing telling him we managed to secure a path in order to evacuate the students from the place. So Shiro tells them the 7th king wants to create a war between the kings. And because of that he summoned Su and Raishi here. But unfortunately he is not the only danger present right now. And suddenly while they are standing there an illusion appears in the place. And everyone starts hearing a strange voice. So Shiro goes to Nico, and tells her I want you to become the first member of my clan. And I want you to help me with all your power. And suddenly an illusion appears across the entire school for the students. And Shiro appears in front of them, and everyone notices that he is the person who was in the video. And Shiro tells them I want all of you to leave the school here as quickly as possible. And I will never allow any of you to get hurt, my dear friends. And at the same time he appears to the 7th king outside the school, and tells him do not you dare attack any of the students while they are escaping. And Nico's power runs out, and the illusion that she created ends, and she faints. So Shiro places her on a chair so she can rest, and stands and tells the people with him, I will not be able to promise you anything, but I will do everything that I can in order to end the situation that we are in, and leaves them and jumps from the window. At the same time the 7th king is standing outside the school, and trying with all his power to force control over Kukuri's body. And inside the school Su is still fighting with Raishi, and the two of them are fighting with their maximum power. And Su tells him I do not feel that you are fighting me with all your strength, so he replies to him no, I am not stupid enough to do that. The whole matter is that I want to save you. So Su attacks him quickly, and Kuro is also fighting Yada and Fushimi. And Fushimi notices that the mark on Yada's neck started glowing, so he tells him it is obvious that Suo will not be able to continue fighting much longer, and they begin remembering their memories. The first time they met Suo while they were students in school, and their third friend comes and takes them and escapes with them from the place, because the entire school became empty now, and Shiro comes to Kuro and tells him we finished our first mission, and now we must end everything and save Kukuri. So Kuro tells him are you sure about the plan that you want to carry out? So Shiro tells him I am depending on you so we can succeed together. So Kuro sits on the ground, and tells him allow me to join your clan. So Shiro tells him do not take the matter too formally like that. And from far away the 7th king is standing watching the fight between Su and Raishi, and says to himself I must wait until Su's power starts weakening, and after that I will be able to control his power, and after that take Reishi's power, and that way I will have the power of 3 kings, and afterward I will be able to take the power of the remaining kings, and control the 7 powers in the world, and I will become the only king. But suddenly he falls to the ground, and Kukuri starts trying to regain control over her body once again, and suddenly he looks above him and finds Shiro and Kuro standing there. So he pulls out the gun and shoots him and escapes far away, and Kuro runs after him and manages to hit him making him fall to the ground, and places the sword above his head, and tells him all this time I was searching for the evil king, and you are that king, and now the time has come for me to kill you. I will not allow a person like you to become the new king. So the king starts trying to imitate Kukuri's voice, and tells them please do not kill me, and suddenly he comes out and attacks Shiro, in order to control his body, but Shiro manages to stop him, and manages to control his power, and in the end he returns once again, and Kukuri is injured, so he tells Kuro take her to a safe place, and I will try to stop the fight between those two over there. So Kuro takes her and escapes from the place, but suddenly Shiro starts feeling tired, and starts moving and sees the fight between the two inside the school, and their power is extremely great. And outside the school all the students stand checking who is missing, and they all notice Kukuri's disappearance from among them, and everyone is outside the school, the Hamare gang and the government, and even Nico. Everyone is standing far away, and they notice 4 swords above the school, and suddenly Shiro interferes in the fight between Suo and Raishi, and inside him there is a conflict, because the 7th king is trying to control his body again, and suddenly Suo attacks Shiro, and his hand pierces through his body, and a huge explosion happens in the place, and Shiro's sword disappears, and he dies. And Su stands up and looks above him and notices that his sword is about to collapse. So Raishi quickly runs and strikes Su with his sword in order to kill him, and before his power explodes in the place, his sword disappears, and Su dies while on Raishi's shoulder, and his blood flows in the place.